Okay. This one channel, stream locations into laser dark setting interference. All right, so we're good to go. Recognition timeline sequence of pi, guys. Have to really understand your position, location, and distance. Measures and account view. Now, really recognize the communications when it comes to your hard setting. We had a provisional location, so that's why we couldn't start at 10. The infiltration setting was very high. In set line communication is sentience and hybrids. Setting line position of brain scans, high position location, dimensional line, locks, line center interference back in the matrix at locations. So you have to really stay in the sensitivity lines of the brain setting, which is the center operation of you. Not the left, not the right, stay in the center. The yin and yang process is the correlating line connections. Now, it's because you don't understand these things, you can't get in adaptation of thinking, hesitation, disruption. You have to find a way to stay in the center line connection through vibration, energy, frequencies, harmonics. So recognize the position, location of track lines. I'm communicating to all voice grid line settings, but I'm not creating thoughts. And like you have to truly understand how this is set up, position locations to all level settings. You have a monotone across the board, electrical light interference. Okay, panel interference. Position of electrical line connection. Center calculations off stream. Everything inside is vibration. You have to start recognizing these things. Okay? To set location high interference. Hold on a sec. Leela wanted to participate, but not in this position. Guys, your plateaus in line position locations. This channels your line interference. So recognizing the time switch locations. Zero channel operation line connections, all electrical setting, communication line interference. You have to really recognize the communication to your patterns. It gets more complicated because you're going to higher level division location fluctuation, right? Channel operation streams, really understand how to use the higher self to higher calculations to its avatar setting. Okay. A UFO position line direction, right? Okay. Understanding line connections when it comes into higher position location of track lines. You have to really understand the accelerations. But when you are communicating, you're not creating thoughts until you understand what they are through provision. Okay. So understand the line connections when it comes into split cycles. Now, split cycle is separation. So it's a magnetic force line center that bounds correlation setting. So it's like trying to find the magnetic setting. It's a force recognition line connection. That's where it comes into sigma. Sigma is a plus line setting. It's adding position of vibration to set location. So you have one tether line communication, one finger into another finger, and you bring it closer, 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 and you see a magnetic chart. Position line connections in direction, and 10 channel operations to recognize the correlation lines of panels. Your set locations, height setting, position of attraction, which is 45. Now the 45 line setting line position location is its arc. The arc is set location of its time, which is its reactor. Setting position locations into ventricle line center locations into 1-line setting, into 2-line setting, into 3-line position. You start with that locations. Heart generation line stream, set location, high setting, high position locations. All right. Now the reckoning line interference, line position locations, center lines is communication. Into line communication setting, into 4 channels off of stream location. Now, in that direct line settings, we take the 3-line communication line settings, and we take position locations into a parallel, into line communications, into 1 panel of 1 position traction. Now, that changed line communications. So it goes down to the throat setting. And set line interference and high position locations all over the ground line rotation. Looks like a tree, right? So your heart reckoning line center comes in life force line position location at all levels. Opens all position locations, all dimension line rotation interference and track location. Now, in that set line condition, sets the position location of wires and correlation settings. We went 4 lines, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12-line setting and set lines position of heart reactor line position of 4, and positions back force lines and 45 connections. 45 splits its position location direct line settings. Done by equation. All right. Setting position of direct location is understand the arc. Now the arc line setting line interference sets position location of its reactor. Okay, so you have to get that position location of tronic lines. Really recognize communication setting and position location tractions. Okay, arc equals reactor. Reactor is a relay program to its energy line cycle, to its atom system, to its calculations, to its line setting, both as operation location. Now, setting line communication is line setting. Okay, line setting, line position. Center operation location, and that's 0 line interference, line position location of 3, into the direct line center to a new ground of operation signal setting by equation. All right, setting position location in the lines of arc line rotation interference is a hologram stream. Now into 45 lines. So technology line interference, nano line and rotation interference, mid arc line condition stands on point of view location, schematic line position location 10, 10 line is 10 line position relays, pro location is 11, 11 position location attraction in solar streamline and position of solar system, and 12 in line rotation interference into allocate position of time. Now the high position location is high system, puts a divine line channel, the operator signal to its correlation system, sets line position location into meta, in set location ultron, take calculations to Metatron. 45 line interference, line position location high system, that's 1 line position of 0, line position location high system of 1, 2, 3, and position to 1, 2, 3, 4, inside line position location of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set locations. Bracket to triangulation position. Intelligence. Setting correlation line interference and position of track. Setting correlations at set location high setting. Setting position location into 6-line position. Setting position locations into 8-line connections. Setting position location into 9. 8 equals 9-line position locations. This comes in 8 triangle line center to 9 position location of traction line position. Done by equation. All right. So as you're setting signals, you really understand the recognition line connection. It's all position locations in the 45 track. Now the 45 track lines position location of its arc, ARC, setting correlation system into its atom, to its relay, to its communication in the 3 set location. Now the set lines and high interference comes into line position. So that's 1 line equal line position of 0. The atom line center, the atom equals line position of 1. 1 center lines is communication of 6. Half pipe calculations to its moon setting in rotation of craft line stream. Done by equation. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm separation line signals and 2, 3 communication into electrical line setting. It's setting up a high center location when it comes into ventricular calculations. Streamlines of 1 in position of 2 in position location of 3 set location. Right? So we got 1 channel line stream in set locations, 1 line setting into metric line communication high setting. Data line settings. Data line interference location is nano. Center calculations in 3 sets in set locations, position 8, line position of 9 equation. All right, so setting signals in a 45 line setting. Okay, so 45 equals locations into helical, to its planet line setting, to its heart in its position, to its ARC location, bracket line connections, and position line attraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 line centers, equal line connections into one position. Line position locations into 4, 4 position of 5, circle line position of track location. Down by equation. All right, so setting this up, line position location track. So we go down, shift line interference, 12 DNA track lines. It's all set up. So the 12 line setting and 0 and 9 line center is now set up location as seconds. Now we're set location as second line position locations. Seconds equals arc. So you guys are in center calculation now. Right? Arc line position of the atom line into position location in minutes, and equal line position location of its relay position location to levels of its hour line setting, line position location of track lines into 24 sequence location, into line communication of 48 channel, line position of 72 computer setting, and line positions to 144 track location to its crystal grid and line communications into 3 set line settings and a 4 track line setting into 1 set locations into 1, 2, 3, 4 set location. Down by equation. All right, so as we're coming into 45 set communication of a neat field set. So you get a 40 line rotation, 40 equal locations of 5, 5 over line position of 1, 1 equal locations of 4, bracket location setting. Okay, now it gets more complicated. Now I send line position location in the whole level system. So you got 4 line setting to a new pyramid set location. Now, recognize line interference is scan location, 1 UFO line setting at top location, another line position location, top locations, scan position, all right? Scan position, right? Scan position. Cross the signals, diamond core line interference, northwest, south, and east. Sending calculations line setting into south line position, center operation line position into all calculations, to all line settings to A are done by equation. So the, the time reactor now set up. Okay, so you're on now the rotation line sending line interference sets position locations into 1 equals block to set location. And the block line center sets 1 box line setting into a T reception line position location attraction, sending line position of circles in 4 locations. Down by equation. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm setting the heart reactor locations to all levels of geometry line interference to all schematic line position location to its setting. This is setting up a new placebo cortex chamber line position location attraction. This is putting you in a generation light stream in line position location all line setting. It's very powerful where we're coming to the locations. So we got 1 line setting, line position of box, heart recognition line, rotation interference, and triangle line position location high setting. T reception line position, new ground line operation, new circle line rotation, new 12 line signals, and line position location. DNA track line and set line interference, line position locations, into line connections, equal line position Merkaba up, down, circle line rotation interference. Sending correlation system and track locations. Down by equation. All right. So setting up the schematics of your heart recognition line setting is understanding the dimensional line rotations. One computer operation is line communications, circuits, central circuits, activation circuits, line communication, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 central lines, 8 positions, and 8 line sending location of grounds. Okay, so 8 equal line centers of 4, 8 equal locations, line position of 6, and set locations. 4 line setting into 4, 6 line position location, line setting, and set locations. 4, 8, 6. So that's 4 track line settings, 8 in rotation, and 6 into throw pattern into a 6 line channel of operations stream. Setting line position locations into the moon set and set location. Change position location traction. There's the moon. Okay. Sun rotation here in set locations. Sun, moon. rotation spin line, 6 lines position, 4 line center line interference in set locations, energetic bubble line position of 12 track line center and rotation cycle loans and set line position locations in one setting. Rounds the correlation set, done by equation. All right. So as we're setting up 45 streamlines, the high center line position location is putting you to hard calculation stream. So you got a 45 channel, okay? Channel line position locations into one line center line position location, 1, 2, 3, 4. Setting position locations into alpha channel, setting line position into box location into Fibonacci swirl, Fibonacci swirl, Fibonacci swirl set locations. All right. Now the ground line center line interference is 1 triangulating line interference, 3 sets location. All right. Now 4 sets lines and 6 is in position, right? Because it's in position location, waiting on signal for tomorrow line setting. Downshift cross line stream location of pyramid set. Operation signal into Merkabah position location triangulation to a tetrahedron location setting, done by equation. All right, so as you come into higher level channel line connections level settings, you come into 0 line rotation, okay? So that's 0, 0, 0, 0, right? So that's set locations of 4, and line position locations into 5, line connections into triangle line and Fibonacci into 3, Fibonacci to atom line, 2 atom rotations, 1 atom here, 1 atom here, line positions, that's 3 over 3. Line positions over pi. Sending correlation line connections in position location of track into 1 line signal in line position location, equal line position location of arc in set locations. Down by equation. All right, so as I'm going to new schematic line channel. Now a schematic is a line condition to a map sequence locations of patterns. There's the map signal line interference. There's the 3 ventricle valve line rotation and position of track lines into 1 position of south line calculations into north and south and east line position location of west. Setting line division location is all levels of arc, setting line rotations into time. Now time line position location comes into space, the location of 6. Another half pipe set location of 6 line setting, done by equation. All right, so speed line setting, acceleration line conditions. So we got the heart line rotation, time reactor line position locations in position. So this is where we come into this line communication into set line settings. Okay. So you got a spherical sphere line rotation at ground lines. Center position to magnetic highway information line. Correlated line connections of triangle line position offsetting into offset locations into east and west. Sending correlation center into spherical spheres and 2 line center line rotation interference line track locations. Sending communication line settings into drop line position locations into higher line position to lower ground line centers of travel communications. Done by equation. All right, so getting into communications into digital layers. Now, digital line interference is line position location of 1, in position of 2, in position of 3, in position of 4, in position of 5, in position of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 location. Set lines high setting. Okay, so as it goes into 0 line, it goes into 1 and line center of 0, line position of 0, 1 line setting, line position location, 1 line over pi, set position location, 1 line 0, 0 line position locations into 1 line setting, comes into alpha wave channel, comes into delta wave calculation streamline, into time frequency times line times pi, and metrical line communication to gamma signal, and single line position of track line position, atmosphere locations, equal line conditions of arc, and set lines of communication, time reactor line position. Done by equation. All right, so setting wave central line calculation settings to heart reactor line rotation interference is 0 equals locations of 9 setting. Done. That's it. It's all done. All right, so as we come into line position, your calculation of streamlines is now in a rotation spin. Now the rotation spin sets line position Fibonacci 1 way in set locations, and the opposite system location high setting, position location of traction. That's position to its projection location streamline. Okay. Now underlying interference is underlays its position of its program location of sonar channel communication. Now, line communicating is trying to understand how to set the position location. This is paint by number now. 4 line track line and position location, line position of 5, line position location of 6. That's 6 line position location, half pipe setting. Sending position location of portal line rotation into black hole, rotation setting, ground line interference, and travel communication into 3 set line position location and 4 set line position of traction. Done by equation. All right. So I'm sending up high send location into the astro connections, astro projections, and actual line centers of levels of correlation line positions to all your positions of your recalculation. The recalibrating line setting line interference has to recognize the communication of heart recognition line conditions, has to understand the time reactor and what it's doing through 0 position location and 9. 9 central line communication system puts everybody in position location of channels. Operation signal, position of ground line setting. So you got a 0 line row, okay? 0 line round. 0 equals round, line position location of ground, equal line condition of gravity, gravity line rotation interference, in position location high setting into 1 signal, into 1 lines in position, equal line condition of 0, 0, 0, 0, 4 track locations, and set lines equal line conditions of 5, 4 lines sending line position, 4 line position of 45 locations, waiting on signal to 46 and set locations, into 1 UFO line setting, into 1 scan line rotation and set location. Done by equation. All right, that's it. It's all set. Astro travels, after connection, after project location line center, target reactor line interference is now set at 1 line position. That's 1 tether, 1 channel line position of 24,000 signal location of patterns. Rotation position locations, 48,000 line signal locations of high center location of windows, 72,000 line communication computer, set line position of cell generation light stream and high interference, and 144 track location of crystal grid line position location, track interference location, position contraction. Done by equation. It's all set up. So, a lot of things you guys have to recognize communications of now. More higher set of calculations becoming to 46 lines. This is a solar streamline interference of water containment line position through a pattern. You have to recognize the voice line settings, guys. Your voice is there. You have to learn how to use all your senses, its impulses, its in position location direct line settings. Really start to recognize how to communicate to different vibration locations because each compartment is connected to its eco setting. That's okay. All right, Londa Communications, Madeline, high position Gypsy, Gypsy line communication, high system, all levels, high center Bender, or Bender location, Heather, line certification, all levels of Boson, Heather, setting line certifications into Danielle. Let's go into communications about Chris, Max, line certification, Sarah, JP, Nikki, high position location track lines, Guardian, Johnny, all of the Trinity, Commander, high setting line position of track lines, off interference, location position, high setting, directing communications, all of the channels, one position location, all of the setting, and rotation cycles, switching communication line setting, high interference, and track location settings, relays, and high setting line position, relay program locations, off signal, high signal location. So that track the interference. 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 set locations, right? Direct line setting to my computer line rotations into a graph line stream. Setting position locations, time arc of its heart reactor location. Okay? So all your hearts are set up. Confirmations, locations for my computer, my digital pad, and my phone set line conditions. All setting locations of 0 to 9 line setting. Multi-path. It's all done. All right. Space and time. Space. Setting position, location, attraction. I think it's powerful too when we start to really understand how to use the heart reactor locations in your time sequence locations. So you got space line, in position location, track locations, into higher position. Okay. So as you lines of another 6 line position is going through geometry set line in division. It's setting up its locators. Now, a locator line interference sets position location with GPS, geometric perception of its systematic line condition, the geographical perception locations. Setting the ion line setting the line interference line position locations into diamond core line setting into an I position location attractions. So the I setting, right? So that set up line interference into one ventricle levels in 3-line position. All track location settings. So fire recognition timelines in 3 set locations in the north, west, south, and east in high set locations. All right. So that's 3, that's 3, that's 3, and that's 3. Okay. So the line communications comes into a new diamond shift line position of traction. Now that track line position location opens up the GPS line, send it to a new ground operation signal, setting line position location, higher line position location, a 3 valve correlation system of 3 satellites. 1, 2, 3. Systematical line conditions. Bracket interference, bracket interference, bracket interference. 1 line position into 1 umbrella, setting position to 2 umbrellas, and ether calculation to 3 line setting. Done by equation. All right, it's all set up. So the heart recognition timeline is now in its heart reactor high setting. All right. Now, as you set lines in high center interference, it's set up a new program location. Now that program location is really understand the time reactor and what it's doing with the provision. So this is 3 over channel, 3 equals over channel. Okay. So channel /line operation signal, line position location high setting, and position location traction. Okay. So setting up the kaleidoscope line interference sets position location to heart. Okay, so you got the heart line rotation. It's in line communication left line, which is space line, and the earth line rotation high setting. It's all set up. All right. So recognition kaleidoscopes is line position of dimensional door setting in rotation of surface. So 2 Fibonacci's lines of 3, line position of 3 set locations. You bring that track interference, that's 33 set lines in the circle line rotation, setting position of tractions. Comes into another triangulation position. Now that rotation, another line position location, another box line setting rotations into triangle line conditions. 3 over 4 over pi. Setting position of track lines. The ventricle level and position of the spine. The position location of your data port is now in position locations into higher ground line setting into location of space and time through pi is lines we went into 3 in line conditions equals to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how it becomes 3, position of 4. Okay, that's how it becomes line centers of 3 into position of 4. You have to recognize all communication. Your foundation is always going to be 12 signals. The setting communicating line interference has to really recognize the communication of your settings. Understand that all communication of its interface is all position locations into one division line setting. Type of 6 line. Okay, this is 6 line communication. Okay. So it's really understand the recognition line conditions to its pi. Set 6 line position into metric setting, into position center line communication. Okay, that's 1 pi, right? Over 6. So that's 6 equal lines of 1 equal lines of over pi. Okay. Setting position locations in one setting. All right. So remember, I'm sending up the pi through your heart now. So this all has to be done. You got through the observation line setting and visual locations. But once you guys get set up high setting, you understand your pi correlations of your clock lines. Sun, communication to the moon, right? Sun and the moon. You are here in travel, right? So that's position locations is 3. Okay. So that 1 line setting, 1, okay, plus 1 equals relocation. All right. So you got a masculinity and you got a femininity set location setting. You got a center line communication and operation signal. Okay, setting positions. You got a high line rotation magnetic highway information set. In rotation to 1 tube set location, into high generation line settings, into your position levels, solar setting line position locations, into your DNA of track locations of 12, done by equation. That's it. It's all done. All right. So letters, numbers, shapes, and symbols are all set at location heart reactor. Any questions? There's a lot of interference, right? You know, it's about understanding the set position location, how to set line connections. But your time reactors are now set up to 0 to 9. So as of tomorrow line setting, the recognition line communication system is going to put a line position of solar stream into 6. That's 6 over pi. Okay. Now this is an underlay, an under relay in positions in overdrive. Okay, we have to initiate the program location to get into the water containment setting, into its interline connection to its interposition line setting, into its interception. This is interfacing the correlating line conditions to each number. Each numbers comes into a new geometry set lines and new travel. It sets a position, location, and tractions into your own design position. Okay, equals everything to set locations. Because it's energy of everything. It's energy, vibration, frequency, hormone comes into circle up, right? So you really, really have to get into registered patterns. Once you get into the industry of your set locations, that sets line hybrid locations. Now, your position location is the calculation how you see yourself and your chakras and everything through your set location, the center operation. You have to come into center operation to your clocking setting to one set location. Okay, so again, position 9 is always going to be E line conditions to its energy wash. 9 never changes. If you put 9, 9, 9 locations of 4 central lines of energy wash locations. So that's 4 channels of streamlines in set locations. In the 4 positions, equal line conditions of 7, 7 position location of 5, line position location of 12 into your DNA patterns. The cyclone. Cyclones are line communication position, set location. Setting line position, it's not. One's going one way, going the other way, see? So it's setting up, but it's going the opposite direction. So that's position locations when it comes into positive, into negative setting. Okay. So underscore lines of position equal locations over line in position initiate line position location over pi in set line connection high system. One tether communications back in line setting into its pi correlation setting. That's a half pipe line position of the pi in set location. Understand how to travel through galaxies. And that's where you guys are coming into. All right. So you have to really recognize the sun and really understand the projected location in moon setting. It's an operation line position. It's set locations. Sun and the moon to its position. Right. So what you're doing is you're just traveling. Okay, traveling forward and traveling back. That's it. So you're transmitting. That's all you're doing every single day, nothing else, nothing more. So understanding line position location of arrows, line position of 6. Now the arrow is the direct location. I don't want to go too far with that angle setting because your heart reactor now has a receptacle line setting. It's a set line communications of another line position. It starts off with a third eye line rotations, but it's a theta line interference of an eye. Line in position of attraction. This is where you can come in to see education of souls. Recognition of timelines, time streams, location, position, and attraction locations. Seeing the lights and the shades and the shadows of everybody to a position. All right. So now we do have Zoom. Obviously, you guys have a lot of questions coming up. So knowing exactly what you're coming into is your data, your inputs, your outputs. You have to understand what an input is. You have to understand what an output is. You have to understand what a Wi-Fi is. You have to understand what a modem is. What is the moon to its avatar? Right? It's all position to one signal. Yin and yang. This morning, you're always balanced because if you're not balanced, you're off balance. See what I just did there? Reverse psychology. I said locations. I was on balance, now I'm off balance. So what happens if I say I'm off balance? I'm off balance in here. This is not off balance. This is not off balance. It's up here that's off balance. So you have to get out of the physical adaptation setting. This is not off balance. Okay? It's here that's off balance. So this is what you have to balance. The mind, the ground line setting is here, not this. This is the hologram. This is the mindset. Hologram, mindset, hologram, mindset. Okay, collaborating, resurfacing, re-angling. Really get in that reposition. Reposition to position. Yes and no. No, maybe. You're never in the center operation of confusion. You're always in the center operation of the now, which is set okay. So it's just coming into more factoring calculations to your memory sets. And the more you fast track the high sand line position of attraction, you get a better calculations to a stream location, to its art reactor location setting. Okay? All right. Thunderbird flying over them from behind in slow motion, barrels roll in celebration. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you're seeing. You want to see what you want to see, which is a connection to celebration inside of you through more mind adaptation location into the core setting. You have an inner and you have an outer core that has to recognize your position locations and how you see yourself set into your digital number location setting. So you have to really understand the positions of the tronic setting, which is a metatronic cube line rotation that's connected to your data box line setting. A data box is all the information line setting in the center operation of locations. It tethers its position locations into the brain center location center line, connected to your receptor locations. So you have to really understand how you are set up in all that. Throw pattern communication line setting into box location into 0 1s track locations. Adios.